call to order the March 14th meeting of the Sacramento Area Sanitation District, or Sewer District. We're taking things out of order because we have a quorum for one body but not others. So at this point, would the clerk please call the roll to establish a quorum?
Yes. Good morning, directors. Bruins.
Present.
Carr.
Here.
Frost.
Here.
Guerra. Harris.
Here.
Hume. Lee.
Here.
McGarvey. Morin. Nottoli. Orozco. Peters. Serna.
Here.
Villegas.
Here.
Warren. Kennedy.
Here.
Okay, you have a quorum of your sewer district.
Great. You want to?
Did we want to do the pledge?
Let's let you go.
Okay. This meeting of Sacramento Regional County Sanitation and Sacramento Area Sewer Districts is being broadcast live on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast Consolidated Communications and AT&T Uverse cable systems. The meeting is closed caption for our hearing impaired viewers and webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. Today's meeting will replay Sunday, March 18th at 6 p.m. on channel 14. In accordance with Government Code 54952.3, compensation for meeting of these legislative bodies is required to be verbally disclosed. The amount of $100 will be paid for each member participating today as a member of the Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District, and the amount of $100 will be paid for each board member participating today as a member of the Sacramento Area Sewer District. Compensation for Sacramento County supervisors and City of Sacramento council members is paid to the county and city respectively to partially offset those costs of the governments. Compensation for other board members is delivered to the individuals. Members of the audience wishing to address the board should fill out a speaker identification form located at the back of chambers and hand it to the clerk. Please speak into the microphone when addressing the board and state your name for the record. Please silence your electronic devices at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. And with the arrival of Mr. Nottoli, we will go back to the original agenda. So would you
We now
please
have a quorum.
rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, acting as Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District, your district consent matters are items 1 through 3.
Any questions, any comments?
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Director Harris, second by Director Nottoli. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Okay. Item number 4 is your comments from the public on issues not on the posted agenda.
I have no cards. Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak? Next item.
Okay. Acting as Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District and Sacramento Area Sewer District, item number 5, recognition of Claudia Goss on the occasion of her retirement.
Good morning, Chair, members of the board. I just would want to spend a few minutes recognizing Claudia's work with the districts. It was a bit of a surprise to me when she announced early this month that she would want to retire, actually about a month ago, that she is planning to retire at the end of this month. March Madness. Believe it or not, there is a March Madness in the retirement. Like NCAA, March Madness is when people retire because April 1st is a COLA. And so I don't think Claudia timed that way, but this is, she's been thinking for some time. Claudia has been with the district for over 15 years, and before that she worked for the Southgate Parks and Recreation at various capacities, including as a general manager for the district for almost 15 years there, and she had a little bit of a private experience along the way. And during her tenure, our whole public affairs has switched, one from reactive to proactive. We worked hard previously to stay underground, be out of sight with the people. And she sort of switched that around to say, no, we need to be out in the public, explain what we provide, and have people appreciation for the service. And I think because of her effort, we are gaining that recognition, both districts, and she's done a great work in that regard. Managed last decade. I mean, we think Echo Water Project is a big project. Many of the folks Those that have been on the board for longer than maybe 10 years know that we had a $1.4 billion interceptor upgrade, a lot more disruptive than the Echo Water project. Echo Water project is out of mind, out of sight, but these are the big pipes going through neighborhoods. A lot of public interaction, and she was instrumental in managing those as well. We have special events where we have the Freeport conversion, and she's the hand behind the scene trying to get all these things arranged and done well. And those of you get state of the district reports, which actually is, as a matter of fact, I think it's coming up next board meeting. Those are Morin children of Claudia. So she's done a lot of work. As a matter of fact, we all talk about Echo Water, the name she came up with. And when she floated a number of names, Echo Water didn't stick particularly well for us engineering, the left brain guys. It took us quite a bit of work and actually have to have a visa to go to the right brain, to go into the right brain and say, yeah, this actually is a good name for us to use. So she's the one that came up with that name. And then also regional sand branding with the SASD and regional sand. There's a lot of effort to drive our names into the community. Plant tours. She's a big proponent, and so she's set that up for us to have a good interaction with the public, from whom we get accolades and many awards and recognitions along the way for both districts. So all of those, she's done a lot of great work, but more than that, to me personally, she served as an advisor. She's more than a public affairs manager. I mean, I relied on her when I think of doing certain things, and I'd bounce ideas off of her to see what she would think. And I believe she served the same role with the prior district engineers. Stan, certainly, I think she did, and I believe she did the same thing with Mary, although I wasn't quite close in that regard. All around, great human being with grace, poise, and compassion. That's who she is. I've never seen her really get startled. If she did, she kept it really quiet, and I've never seen her get angry and frustrated. If there was any, it was very momentary passing. I mean, I like a lot of what she did except one thing. At one point, maybe a year ago, we were talking about our respective retirements. I thought she told me she would wait until I retired, so the two of us would retire together. And when I brought that to her attention, she said, well, I didn't put it in writing. You should have had me put in writing, so, oh well, what can I say? With that, I want to wish her well, and probably want to say a few words. Anyway, it's a great loss, big shoes to fill, and she's also helping me with developing the exam to recruit her replacement, so she's really helping with that regard too.
You said all those nice things. She didn't blush yet either, so I tell you, pretty calm, cool, and collected. So.
Well, thank you, Prabhakar, for those nice words. When Prabhakar asked me earlier during one of our executive management team meetings if I wanted to say a couple words this morning, I said, well, of course, I'd love to do that. And my colleague Ruben, knowing that we like to make our communications more compelling, asked me if I would be doing a PowerPoint presentation about myself. And I thought that was a great idea. I was ready to put the baby pictures and all through the years, but Prabhakar said I really wouldn't have time for that this morning. So what I did want to just touch on were really three things that have meant a lot to me over the years. And that, first and foremost, and it's really what we do, is talking to our customers and the opportunity to interact with them and help educate them about who we are and what we do, why it's important, how we help the environment and protect public health. Those are the projects that I've really enjoyed working on. And lots of different projects, some more challenging than others, some coming up, but lots of really fulfilling work. That's been great. I've also been struck over the years by how open and accepting the districts are to doing new and innovative communications. So Prabhakar touched on some of that. So whether it's doing an advertising campaign that's sort of different and interesting, or branding a construction project, I think a lot of sanitation districts don't really have the energy and the resources to do that, so we've been very lucky in public affairs to have that kind of commitment from the organization. We have taken some creative leaps forward. We have we've conducted award-winning projects and campaigns, so it's when you look back on it, it's like, that's really great that we were able to do that. Finally, my amazing team. It's not me, it's my staff that does most of everything. I also need to acknowledge some consultants that have also helped along the way with our branding and our naming of projects. I don't want to forget them. But my team of communication and media officers, Nicole Coleman, Sharon Sargent, Peter Castles, and Leanne Salerno back at the office. They really do a lot of great work. They're wonderful people. We also have a great cadre of professionals in the region, public information and communication professionals that we work closely with throughout other agencies and municipalities. They're people that really work behind the scenes. You probably know a lot of them, but they deserve a lot of thanks and recognition for all the good work they do, and I have loved working with them. And the folks at the county here too are just really, really good to work with. And finally, just thank you to you guys, to the board. You have given us so much support and encouragement and challenged us to do things in a different way and to reach out more and more. And I know that's one of the reasons why we've been so successful. With that, I will be continuing to watch and be interested in what you guys do. There's a lot of things coming up in the future. I was asked earlier if I will be a gadfly. I promise I won't, but I will be tuning in to Channel 14 as the government junkie that I have always been. So thank you. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you, and you're still on the hot seat. Don't move. Director Nottoli.
Yes, thank you, Chair Kennedy. I want to say to Claudia, certainly to congratulate her, but also to acknowledge that I've known her for well over 30 years and had a chance to work with her in her capacity at Southgate Recreation and Park District. I just wanted to note, too, that Claudia was with the district when these districts proposed to dig up the Tillotson Parkway and have a massive construction project with this large trenches for the interceptors right down through this parkway that had homes adjacent to it, and primarily in Supervisor Kennedy's district now, but at the time was in District 5. And so Claudia was kind of on the front lines along with other district staff at Southgate, and we came to, after some back and forth, to a compromise that really, I think, allowed this district in its future project, including the large interceptor construction. It was the first time this district had tunneled underneath certain facilities, and I know there's some other members of this board who recall that. And Claudia and her team there, I think they felt a little bit outnumbered and a little outmaneuvered at the time, but nonetheless, in working through this board and through district staff at the time, those subsequent to those folks, I think really brought forward an approach that has served this district well in constructing through neighborhoods and business districts. And again, there's been some costs incurred, but nonetheless, I think it was the right thing. And then I was surprised when she made the jump from Southgate certainly to the district. And I want to acknowledge, though, her people skills. I think Prabhakar touched on it very well in his comments. Her ability, I think, to relate well with people and certainly to, I think, be a solution seeker, but also one who could help solve problems. And I think you said it well, Prabhakar, when you've asked her to serve in a capacity, providing some good advice to you and bouncing ideas off of that. And so with all that being said, I just want to wish you well, Claudia. You've been a tremendous asset. I think you can look back on your career and be very proud of your accomplishments, your contributions, and certainly the work you've done. And I appreciate your responsiveness to folks who've inquired, certainly during my years of service, about matters that reflect on their billings or on other issues. And again, you've been lead on a lot of those responses, and I appreciate the care and gentleness that you've attached yourself to in trying to address those issues. So you've been a blessing to this district, certainly, and a blessing in many ways. And so I wish you well and Godspeed. Have a great retirement.
It's been great to work with you.
Director Serna.
Thank you. So I too want to add to Director Nottoli's congratulations and well wishes on your retirement. Many of you don't know this, but I've known Claudia probably close to 25 years myself, personally through a mutual acquaintance. And so when I had the good fortune of being elected in 2010, and of course we all learned very quickly that when you're elected to your own home office, you're also elected to about 30 other commissions and boards. But having someone here that you've known really does make a difference in terms of helping you settle in quickly, and so I want to thank you for that. I want to add to the comments that Don just made too, and note that for all of us that are up here that are elected, we're all very sensitized to messaging. We're all very sensitized to how we, on a regular basis, interact with our constituencies. Also in 2010, that was the year that we had the directive from the Regional Water Quality Control Board to embark on the project that we have now for 8 years. And with that came a lot of uncomfortableness, quite frankly, in terms of planned rate increases and how do we do that in a structured way that is fair to the ratepayers, but also how do we communicate that to the ratepayers? And so you've been very instrumental in helping us do that in a way that I think is very constructive and is something that it's basically how to explain some bad news, so to speak, in a way that minimizes the consternation on behalf of those that we're asking to pay more. And so you should be very proud, as Director Nottoli suggested, for all the great work that you've done over the years. And I really do appreciate the personal friendship and your service here to the district. So congratulations.
Director Bruins.
Thank you. Well, Claudia, you and I came on at about the same time, it sounds like, and I just want to say that I really believe you have changed the face of regional SAN to the public and the constituents that we serve. When I reflect back to what our messaging was like 15, 16 years ago, as it compares to today, it's night and day. And kudos to you for giving your team credit, but leadership, it comes from the top down. And so I think you can retire knowing that you've left a legacy. And the work that you have done over the last 15 years for regional SAN will go forward for generations to come as we continue to be an agency that's proud to be out there. And as I drove in this morning, I heard, a Sac Sewer ad, and I wouldn't have heard that 5 years ago.
Right.
So thank you for everything that you have done, and that we will continue to feel the efforts of your work. And I am so jealous that you are retiring before me, but I wish you all the best.
I didn't make that commitment to you either.
Director Frost.
Hi, Claudia.
I see.
I remember the first time I came on board and I had the opportunity to tour Regional SAN and the Eco Water Project, and I came back to my office and I said to everyone, she obviously loves what she does and she's so good at it. Oh. And it really did show, and it was infectious, and I just wanted to say a couple of words of thanks for all that you've done. I haven't been here as long as everyone else, but thank you for your service to Regional SAN. And I have a feeling I'll get to see you because you live in my district.
Yes.
I hope I will. So I hope you enjoy every minute of retirement, if that's really what's happening. You look way too young to retire.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. Just one piece of unsolicited advice: give it a good 6 months before you turn on Channel 14.
Oh, no.
So.
Try to pry myself away.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Item number 6, miscellaneous director and district engineer matters.
So I have a few notes to provide. First of all, no meeting on March 28th. So our next meeting will be on the April 11th. It could be a contentious meeting. That's when we're planning to award the TTF project. There are some issues with the bid documents and things, and so I sent you the email in terms of the announcements and things, and thanks to the cone of silence that we're really in a silence period, and that could change. We don't know until tomorrow in terms of the what protests may come about or not. Phase 2 water fix. testimony. So Regional SAN is a protestant related to Phase 2. So our testimony could be Friday afternoon or Monday morning, one of those two. So Ruben and I are warming up to go speak to the State Board in terms of what the water fix has in terms of impacts on Regional SAN. And what we're asking them is to mitigate for those and compensate for the problems that they're creating for us. And so there's a series of actions or the steps that we want the State Board to take if they decide to approve that petition. There's about 10 of them. So we have our science folks, we have our policy folks, all are going to be, we have about an hour to provide the testimony. So it'll probably be Friday afternoon or Monday morning. Last but not least, I want to thank Amanda Bishop. This is her last board meeting. She has done an excellent job. Alma, don't go away. Just come on, you're sneaking back. So,
A nice try.
Amanda has done an excellent job for the last 2 years clerking our board meetings. Alma, who got promoted to be the assistant clerk, she's going to be taking over. She's a clerk in training. So I just wanted to acknowledge her services and appreciate the time she has spent with us. And she's promised us that she would be coming back from time to time to work with Alma, or when Alma is needed, say, a break, she could come in and help out. So I want to appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay. Yes. Director Harris.
So, Amanda, I just wanted to thank you personally. You have saved my iPad on numerous occasions when I walked out without it, and I'm very appreciative of your services. But I will personally miss you, and I wish you well in your next endeavor.
Thank you. All right, ready, next item?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless you need to save Director Harris's iPad.
That's after the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, that's after he walks out the door. Acting as Sacramento Area Sewer District, item number 7 is your consent matter.
Any questions on item number 7? Is there a motion?
I move approval.
Who was the motion maker? Okay. Moved by Director Bruins, second by Director Frost. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay.
That concludes your agenda for today.
All right. If there's any questions, comments from the board, we're adjourned.